All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Easy Money, a sports betting show, Wednesday, June 12th, 2024. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez. How's it going?
Well, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Had a pretty good night last night. Didn't go 5-0 this time. I went 4-1.
Yeah, I had a good night, too. A lot better than the night before.
And the game I lost was Minnesota against Colorado at Minnesota.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think I went 4-1 or 5 in the name two. 4-1. Only game I lost was damn Cincinnati Reds. Got down early, fought back, and then gave up another couple more runs.
Yeah, they come back and next time give up a run. Score another run and give up another run. They couldn't.
Yeah. I went 4-1. It was all Major League Baseball because that's basically all there was. Like I said, the Reds at the +1.5. They lost by 2 runs. So that was the only one I had wrong. Hopefully, the Reds can get back going today.
Yeah, they struggle against Cleveland. Seems like a lot of times. What are you thinking? You think Dallas will be able to pull one out tonight?
Oh, man. I think it's going to be a good game, but yeah, I'm going to go with Dallas. I mean, they have to win this game. You lose this game, series is definitely over.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to come back. You can still come back 2-0, especially because both them games was in Boston. If you can get these games in Dallas, then it's a whole new series. But it does worry me a little bit for the Celtics if Porzingis plays or not. If you look, the Celtics are like +26 when he's on the court, and they've been even when he's not on the court in this series. So I think that's what could be a big thing, whether he plays or not. But I think Kyrie's going to have a better game tonight. Being back in Dallas, I look for Kyrie to have his best game of the series. And I think Dallas is going to pull out the win. But it is interesting that the Celtics are underdogs. It's only the fourth time all year, counting regular season, playoffs, everything that they've been an underdog. That's pretty crazy. They've been over 90 games. They've only been underdog 3 times going into the night. This is the 4th time.
So what is the point spread?
2.5. Hey, what's up, Glenn? Glenn said he won $400 yesterday.
Man,
That's always a good day.
Most definitely.
Yeah, so I think Dallas is going to get a win tonight, and then everybody will be talking about this series totally different. Dallas wins tonight. All the headlines tomorrow will be that is Boston falling apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If Tatum don't score 40 points, they're going to be all over him. I don't understand all the hate on him either. I mean, dude, yeah, he had what? He's averaging 17, 18 points a game. Okay, he's not averaging in the 20s, but look at all the other stuff he's been doing too. I know he ain't shooting the ball great, but they act like he's just playing outright terrible.
And they're not losing. So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but if they lost the games, I would understand maybe being a little more critical.
I mean, yeah, they're winning games. The way that team's built, he don't have to score 35 a night.
It's true.
If you look at, I mean, with Dallas right now, Luka has to score 30, 35 a night for them to win. Is how it's been. The other night you had what, 30-point triple-double, and they still lost. Dallas needs somebody else to come along for the ride with them. And so far, in this series, Kyrie hasn't been there.
Yep, that's true. He's definitely not playing like he did the first couple of series.
But he has struggled against Boston ever since he left Boston. So hasn't beat him. Which is kind of crazy.
Think that could be a mental thing, do you think?
That could be some of it, but I mean, the other thing is he matches up against their best two defenders, who are two of the best wing defenders, or two of the best defenders in the league, with Holiday and White, and then you also have Tatum and Brown that can defend. I think their size and length caused him a lot of trouble.
Also, did want to comment. One of my favorite players of all time passed away. Jerry West.
The logo.
Yep. One of my favorite players. I got to actually see him play on TV quite a bit. Actually, back then we didn't get near as NBA games, but we did get to see the Lakers quite a bit because they were a pretty good team. So when the teams were on TV, the Lakers was on TV a lot. So I got to see the Lakers quite a bit. So definitely a great player. It was good for the league.
Yeah, I never got to see him play, of course, because he
Way done. Way
he
done
was
before you.
done before me. But I've seen highlights of him. I've heard a lot about him. I know I've heard a lot about him today too on a lot of the radio shows and stuff. Some of the stories I've heard today was pretty cool about him as well. But it's hard to find any. It's hard to find anybody that's done more for the game of basketball than him. And I know he's the logo, but it also feels like he don't get the respect that maybe he should. Don't get talked about as much as he should.
I think a lot of the older players don't have
And
a
I
check.
don't think a lot of people realize that. I mean, up till like last year, he was still had a part in the Clippers. I mean, you know what I mean? He was still with that organization. And from what Windhurst said today, he thinks they were still consulting with him some, even though the last year he's been battling health and hadn't been around as much. So I mean, even being 86 years old, he was still involved in a lot of big decisions in building teams.
It's like today, Larry Bird don't get talked about like he should.
No.
There was a lot of great players in the 80s, 70s, and 80s don't get talked about.
So I think a lot of people forget he had a big part of helping build the Golden State Warriors.
Lakers.
Oh yeah, I mean the Lakers too. I mean, even after that, when he left there, he was a big part of building helping build that Warriors dynasty.
Also seen.
He's done with the Clippers out there. So I mean, he's done a lot. One was it 9? I think it was total of 9 NBA championships he has. One as a player, and then like 8. What was it 6 or 7 as a GM with the Lakers, and then another 3 with the Warriors or something like that.
Also, one of the he was a good NBA player, but wasn't I don't know if it was NBA as much, but he was a good pro player. But great, well, arguably the greatest scorer in college football, Pete Maravich. Uh, One of his sons passed away pretty young. Well, Maravich was pretty young when he passed. I didn't see what the son passed away of, but died suddenly here recently, last few days. I seen that come up on my feed, so that's not good either. So now West lived a pretty long life, 86 years old.
Yeah. It seemed like he was pretty healthy for most of it. You didn't hear a whole lot about, like, you know what I mean, him being like, when like a lot you heard about being in the hospital or in bad shape a lot. It was seemed like, especially for being 86, he lived a pretty healthy life.
I think he gets forgotten. There can be an argument made that he's one of the top 10 of the greatest players of all time. I know he's probably not on that list for most people, but a lot of people making those lists are young people. But definitely top 50. But I think you could make an argument top 10. I think, in my opinion. Of course, I got to see him play some. So, and that's hard when people make lists when you didn't see the guy play.
Well, that plus it's
Different games.
yeah, the sport's so much different now than what it was. It's hard to make those comparisons.
True, but West was still a pretty good sized guy, and he was a great shooter. So I think he could have played.
Oh no, I think he could have played too. I'm just saying that
It's hard to make those comparisons. Like Will Chamberlain, there were some good sized guys, but not as many back then as there is now. How would he? I still think Will would have been pretty dominant, but maybe not quite as dominant.
All right. So NBA night, I'm gonna take the Mavs at the -2.5. They're -148 on the money line. The Celtics are +126 on the money line. Over/unders at 214.5. Like I said, this is Boston's fourth time being an underdog this season. Which, if you think about that, not many, 90-something games now, counting the playoffs, that they've only been underdog 3 times before today. That's pretty crazy. From what I was hearing, it sounds like Porzingis isn't going to play, but they're saying it's going to be a game-time decision. But from
I wouldn't play
reports, it sounds like he's not. It sounds like he's going to be out.
if he's not really, really close to 90 or 100%.
I don't think he's. I don't think he's anywhere close to that person.
Yeah, so I think you try to hold.
Just from reports. I'm just going by like what you hear. But.
Play again Saturday. I try to have him ready for them.
Actually, do they play Saturday or Friday?
I thought it was 3 days.
Oh, is that probably?
Or 2 days. I don't think it's just one day. I figured they played Wednesday, and I figured it'd be Saturday. I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right, but I thought I heard. I heard Reggie Miller or Dan Patrick earlier. I thought for some reason I thought he said they played Friday. Because I thought it was Saturday as well. But for some reason, when I was listening to Dan Patrick, I want to say, it's Friday. See, that makes no sense. Last time they took 2 days off, even though even though you were playing in the same city. Now this time they're just taking the one off.
It don't seem fair.
Yeah, they play Friday night at 8:30.
No.
So I was thinking it was Saturday too. That's the only reason it kind of stayed in my head about Friday was when Reggie said that, because I was thinking it was Saturday. So I was like, on Friday?
I don't know.
Yeah, doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, so they play tonight, then they play again Friday. And then Major League Baseball tonight. There is no hockey tonight. That's not till tomorrow. I wish they didn't drag it out so much, especially in the NBA finals. They've dragged it out more than hockey, but I understand why hockey had the another day off because they're traveling all the way from Florida to freaking Edmonton for that game tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think they said like a 5.5. I think they said a 5.5, 4.5, 5.5 hour flight,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Is what they were saying. Baseball. I've been pretty hot on baseball here the last week or so. I'm gonna go with the Orioles on the money line over the Braves. Both team are starting or not starting either one of their top starters. It's almost like a bullpen could turn into a bullpen day for both teams. So I'm gonna go with the Orioles at home. I'm gonna take the Nationals at the +1.5 on the road at the Detroit Tigers. I'm gonna take the Cincinnati Reds money line at home against the Cleveland Guardians. Reds have Lodolo on the mound tonight. He's been pitching well. Reds, they didn't hit the ball terrible yesterday. Like I said, they would still. I like to see a score a couple more runs, but we went like our bats just went completely cold. We couldn't stop them. We had to get back in the game, and we couldn't keep the momentum. But I think Reds bounce back today at home, and I think they have a day off. I think they have a day off tomorrow. Or is it?
It'd be if they have a day off, it'd be Thursday.
Yeah, I think I heard them say when I was watching the game last night that they had a day off after today's game, which kind of caught me by surprise. So it was just a 2-game series against Cleveland, right? Because we were off. Reds were off on Monday.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah, because they were off on Monday. Then we'll take the Cardinals at home on the money line against the Pirates. Cardinals have Sonny Gray on the mound tonight. He's been pitching well. So I like the Cardinals in that game. And then I'm going to take the Yankees on the money line against the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, the Reds play at the Brewers Friday.
I thought they had said yesterday when I was watching the game that they were off after today. So because it kind of surprised me. I was like, they just had a day off on Monday. But they had a big stretcher with no days off. So it's a good part of the schedule to be in and have a couple of days off, especially with some of the pitching injuries we have.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, that's all my baseball.
Okay, my baseball picks for tonight, I did 6. First one, I did San Diego at home money line against Oakland. I did Tampa Bay money line at home against the Cubs. I did Cincinnati at home money line against Cleveland. I went with Philadelphia on the road money line against Boston. I went with the Yankees on the road money line against Kansas City. And then I went with Arizona money line against the Angels. My 6 Major League Baseball picks. I didn't do NBA.
I've done NBA. But, that was I'm not gonna lie, NBA game was tough for me because I picked the Mavs to win the series to start, and then by these first 2 games hasn't looked good. But I do think the Mavs bounce back and get a win tonight.
I've seen where one of the Celtics, I think it's White, talked about how difficult it was. I don't know if he's trying to take a shot at Dallas, but how difficult it was to guard the Pacers.
No, I actually watched that segment live. It was during the post game the other night, and no, he wasn't taking a shot. What it was Bob Myers, who was part of that ESPN crew. He used to be the GM for Golden State Warriors. He was asking White about how the Pacers seemed to be able to score kind of easier on them than what Dallas, if it was because he was basically asking if Dallas playing a slow pace kind of played in the Boston strengths, and what White said, he looked because Josh Hart was on that panel too, and he said you can ask Josh. He goes, Pacers are hard as hell to defend, and Josh kind of started laughing. And he said, yeah, he goes, it's a totally different challenge, Dallas and Pacers, because Pacers are played at such a high pace. He goes, they're hard to defend. He goes, people don't realize how hard they are to defend. I mean, he gave Pacers some props, and he talked about Dallas. He goes, Dallas is different. They're hard to defend in a different way, but he did kind of say that, yeah, the slower pace helps us because when Boston gets in their half court defense, they're hard to score on. I think Dallas needs to pick the pace up, but that's not the way
Their style.
that's not the way they play, especially when Luke is in there. Well, I liked it though because the Pacers actually was getting a little respect on that show. That Bob Myers brought him up at halftime because he kept saying, he goes, Dallas needs to speed the pace up. He goes, look how easy the Indiana Pacers could score on Boston. And he said it was because of how fast they played. And because I mean, he kept mentioning the Pacers, and then he asked. I was glad he asked that in the post game because I mean, as a Pacers fan, it was pretty cool to hear the
I don't think.
opponent's perspective on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think Dallas has as many guys that can score as the Pacers. Pacers, I mean, they weren't just dependent on. I know just on Halliburton. They have quite a few, and like you said, they had a really good scorer. Didn't play.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
Matt.
Pacers have a lot of depth.
Yep.
They're young, but they have a lot of depth.
You think they're gonna make any big moves?
I don't think they're going to make any big moves. It's going to be interesting to see if a guy like Toppin is still there, or if they, if they bring in somebody else in that spot. Plus, you have the rookies because you have that Walker that I think Pacers think he's going to be good. That might kind of take that spot from Toppin. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting what they do there. I don't see them making no real big moves.
Other than you think they'll get what's his name signed?
Yeah, I think he's going to sign. I think I think they had it. I think they knew when they traded for him that there was. I think they were like 98% sure that he was going to re-sign with them. Or what? I don't think you make that move in the middle of the season like that because the Pacers weren't a team that everybody thought was like one player away, or they weren't the team that everybody thought was a player away or an all-star away from being a contender. Everybody thought the Pacers were a couple of years away. So when they made that move to me, if you don't think there's a good chance that he's going to sign with you, that move don't make sense because you went just a Siakam away.
Yeah, true.
And you got him, and it actually put you probably a year or two ahead of what they thought.
I think
At least a year.
At least a year. I think maybe two. But yeah, I agree.
That's going to be interesting to see how they come out start next season because now you got a little bit of expectations. Especially, you made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now there's a little more expectations going into this season. Because last year as a Pacer fan, my expectation was a playoff team. You know what I mean? I was hoping last year we I think we was a playing team. I was hoping we'd get out of the play and be a playoff team. We done that. We ended up making it a lot farther than what I ever thought. But now there's going to be, especially within just the Indiana fan base, there's going to be a little more expectations. So it's going to be interesting to see how the team responds to that at the beginning of the season.
Well, I thought we could be a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. That's what I predicted, and we ended up being 5 or 6. So I'll go off on that.
But only by a couple games.
Yeah,
it was close.
And yeah, they could have been. But I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect them to make the conference finals.
And then, especially when we lost Mathurin, because like I said, that's another guy that can give you 20 to 20. I mean, he can give you 25 points tonight.
And one thing I think it did show, maybe not for the season, and hopefully that'll get better some. At times they played some pretty good defense. I still think some room.
The defense definitely got better as the season went on.
Yes.
And toward the end, yeah.
But
They got to figure out how to play at that defensive level more of the season, and they'll be a top.
I mean, I think what hurt them the most, like you said, at unfortunate times, turnovers. That's what cost them that Boston series.
But the thing is, if you look at during the regular season, and even most of the playoffs, it wasn't a real high turnover team. They only averaged 9, 10, or 8, 9, 10 turnovers a game. But in them games against the Celtics, they were turning the ball over 13, 18, 15. You know what I mean? That was out of character for them to turn over that much.
A lot of them was at terrible times.
The Pacers messed up their schedule, didn't they? Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, takes him down. Wore him out.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, McAfee be cracking me up. Because he won't even hardly mention the WNBA anymore. He been cracking me. Greenberg mentioned Kate McCarthy. He's nope, we're not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not getting into that. He said I'm too big of a doofus to talk about that, so I'm not talking about it. I was crying.
What did Greenberg say?
He started laughing. He goes, "Well, I can talk about it." And Pat goes, "Yeah, you can, but I'm staying out of it." I was cracking up. And then they started that thing again about the arena. Why they move that game again? Was it because the pipes leaking? I was cracking up. He started talking about it a little bit, but I'm not getting into that. But the way he's handled it, I think is great. He said, yeah, it was worth the. I've heard a while. Listened to most of the show today, and I thought it was a pretty good show. Brian Windhurst was on there, and he talked a lot about Jerry West. He told some stories about him. I thought that was pretty cool. What do you think is going to happen in hockey tomorrow? You think Edmonton's going to get back in this series, or you think Florida's going to go up 3-0 and basically put the series away?
The other day I said it's Florida in 5. That's what I think it's going to end up being. And if Florida beats them tonight, it may be a sweep.
I was going to say
Tomorrow.
If it's going to be Florida in 5, if Edmonton loses tomorrow, I don't see them winning the game. I think they need to win that game tomorrow. I think if I agree with you, if they lose tomorrow, I think they're going to get swept.
And the thing of it is, they got off to a decent start and made it 1-0, 1-0.
Well, I know a lot of like your die-hard hockey fans and people that follow the sport said that in game 1 that Edmonton outplayed Florida. And Florida won that game like 3-1 or something, or 4-1.
4-1.
But I mean, I heard multiple people say if you watch that game that they felt you felt like they got outplayed, but they still won. And so you know what I mean. So that's crazy. But that's kind of like the same thing with the Boston, though. I mean, there's time Boston's win balls like the other night that game 2. What I tell you, Dallas should have been up by like 15, at least by 15 at halftime. The way Boston played. And only hit like one or two 3-pointers. I mean, they couldn't hit a shot, but they were still up by 3 at halftime. And, I mean, that's the difference in being a good team and a team that can be a great team. Can you win games when you're not at your best?
Yeah.
Boston's been able to do it, and so is the Florida Panthers in hockey. Because there was definitely times that they got lucky in hell to win some games against the Pacers. The Pacers could have been up in that series and got swept. That's what was crazy about that. Because, I mean, if you watch them games, the Pacers had chances that series could have been Pacers up. It could have been even at 2-2. And, or Pacers could have been up 3-1. But the Pacers get swept. That was crazy. That was a lot more competitive series than just going by it was a sweep.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, you got anything else for today?
Yeah, just real quick, any fans out there of pro wrestling, I watched 2 episodes of a documentary that's new, Who Killed WCW. I watched the 2nd episode that aired last night. It is a very, very good show.
I thought you were going to say Who Killed Ricochet. I heard he died on Monday night.
I heard he might still be kicking. He might be back on Raw here before he leaves, so I don't know. But
McAfee did big killer be talking about that.
Yeah,
he died Monday night. He was talking about it again today. I was cracking up.
But yeah, it's a really good documentary. Definitely different than anything else they put out on that. Very interesting. So highly recommend that.
And also, U.S. Open golf starts tomorrow, and John Rahm has announced he withdrew from the tournament.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he has a foot injury.
Tiger playing?
I think he is. I'm about positive he is. I'm gonna try to watch some of it. I usually watch a lot of the majors. I watched a little bit of last week's, even though it wasn't a major. That, on Sunday, I watched the end of it, or like the last 6 or 7 holes of it, because Scheffler and Schauffele was Morikawa. It was Morikawa. Yeah, Morikawa. They were fighting. They were battling for that last spot. To see who was going to win. It came down to the end. Scheffler ended up winning by a stroke. Scheffler's been on fire, man. There hasn't been nobody on a run like this since Tiger. But all right, we appreciate everybody watching. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room. Like and follow Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, X. Hope everybody has a great night. We'll see you guys tomorrow around 3 o'clock.